Hi, everybody. Welcome to the live session with us. We have lecturers with you. Today, we are going to have Mr. Ong. I believe that there are many people waiting for him. Very long queue already. So, first of all, my name is Jack. I'm a lecturer in the Sunday tests. Okay, and to give you a quick brief on actually what we are supposed to do. All right, so I'm going to show you some of the subjects that we are doing in ICAEW. Okay, so okay, we have the subjects. All right, so I'm a lecturer in Sunday test. So there are 15 papers here. All right, so we are divided into certificate level, professional level, and advanced level. Okay, so for example, I'm teaching the business technology and finance, and as well as business strategy and technology, as well as strategic business management. And the man of the hour, Mr. Ong, is teaching assurance at the certificate level, and then moving on to audit and assurance. Okay, and of course, he's also teaching two advanced level papers, corporate reporting and case study. So Mr. Ong, he's an ICAEW associate member since the year 2000, and is now a fellow member. He started his Sunday test in 2004 and has numerous 100% passes, many classes, all right, and several world prizes. And then sometimes we also lose count. All right, so we would like to now invite Mr. Ong to share with us, all right, his journey from the time he started off doing ICAEW in UK, all right, up to now. I believe that he's a very successful businessman, and on top of that, he's always shuttling up and down his hometown, all right, to Sunway, okay, to produce the many world prizes for us. All right, so can we welcome Mr. Ong?
Hi, everyone. Good evening.
Hi, Mr. Ong. How are you?
Hey, Jack. Fine. How are you? Hey, I'm not successful, please.
In the eyes of all your students, you are the most successful one, okay?
No, I'm definitely not, okay? Yeah.
All right, super role model for all our students.
Nah, I'm just surviving, basically surviving.
Okay.
But like I do, all right, go back memory lane. I think when I was down in uni, I think like most any student, obviously we are clueless, we are lost, with no idea what we want to do in life. And this was during my final year of uni when I realized, hey, it's time to start working. And therefore, I've attended many career fairs in the UK, and which was obviously organized by the uni, but it's not as extensive as what it is today, which I think the Malaysian Society in the UK, they organize it with all the extensive, beautiful fairs over there. But when I was there, I was advised by the career people there, obviously, to pick up accountancy, because I did accountancy degree. And one thing led on to the other. Never really thought myself to be an accountant, to be honest. All right. And after graduating, then I decided to work for a research company, basically researching on companies and the financial statements. And I think I was a little bit handicapped, and therefore I decided to pursue on the ICAEW program. So that's how it all started. And with the ICAEW program, obviously I would be able to interpret the financial statements a lot better. And it was also advised by the owner of the research company.
Was he a chartered accountant as well?
I think like most of my students, and okay, and after yes. Oh, my former, who was a chartered accountant? Sorry, Jack.
Your employer, your boss.
He wasn't. In the research company. He was not a chartered accountant. He was just an economist. Okay. But obviously, he advised me to just go on and do the professional accountancy, which obviously would be beneficial. And that's how I started. And then I went over to Audit World for 3 years, completed my articleship. And then I jumped at the opportunity to work in an engagement for Dana Harta, when Malaysia went through the crisis in 1997 to year 2000, that range.
Okay.
And over there, I think I learned a lot. And obviously, with the accounting skills, then obviously I was engaged because of my ICAEW background. All right. And and then after that, I decided to venture into property development. And I'm still there until today. But I'm only a boutique developer. Okay, I'm not a big time developer like Sunway Group or anything. Just a very, very boutique one, small one, do small projects.
Okay.
Just be and be married. That's about it, I think, in terms of career. And of course, over this whole time, obviously accountancy has helped me, analyzing numbers, playing with numbers, crunching with numbers, deciding whether to pursue on with the project or not. And of course, it helps me in forecasting, raising loans from the banks to do my bridging finance and stuff like that.
Okay.
And so I think it's been wonderful and a very nice path that I've gone through. And experience a lot of things which I think maybe a lot of people cannot experience. The ups and downs of having a business.
Yeah, correct. What about your journey as a lecturer? When did you start teaching?
I honestly started teaching somewhere about 18 years ago.
Okay.
Right? So that was really long back. I think about 2002, plus minus 2001, 2002, because I was approached by an accountancy firm, accountancy qualification, to write a textbook for the qualification.
All right.
Yeah, and it was in audit. And and then I think I started that, and I realized that lecturing was actually a very, very noble job. And the ability to transfer whatever I've learned to younger generation, the future leaders of this country. It's a wonderful experience. And then when Sunway contacted me in 2004, then I hopped on it. And I've been with Sunway until today.
And I believe you are the pioneer for ICAEW in Sunway, right?
Yes. I was, from 2004 until today. Yes, all the way from...
all the way. So you're the first one, and then now you're still with us, all right? So taking all too many papers, all right? So you are the best person to actually do all those.
Hey, no. I specialize in a few papers, but that's about it, But
okay.
So I guess.
Perhaps you could also take us through, the subjects that you teach, because from one level to the next, all right, because you have got experience of taking the students through certificate to professional to advanced, right? So maybe you could take us through those papers that you teach.
Yeah, sure. All right, so at the basic level, which is the CFAP certificate level, I obviously teach AS, which is assurance. And obviously assurance is the fundamental or the backbone or the core knowledge of our audit. So basically, this paper is broken down into 4 little bits, whereby the introduction and the concept of assurance, and then the second bit will be this thing called internal controls, which are basically procedures that a company should have so that they are able to meet their objectives. And the third part of our assurance, obviously, is to gather evidences, because I think as an auditor, we have to gather a lot of sufficient, appropriate evidences to verify the client's financial statements. And importantly, I think that's when we start embedding ethics as well. Yeah, so ES would be basically a very, very rote learning. So in terms of a lot of memorizing, and then and if you know
that's called the certificate level.
Yeah, that's a certificate level side.
Okay.
And all right. And then this paper is actually basically examined with multiple choice, 50 questions. And I think with a simple, basic understanding of it, it should not be an issue, this paper. And then we move on to the next level, which is on a pillar basis. Obviously, it will be audit and assurance.
All right.
And assurance is an extension, obviously, of assurance in the certificate level. And over here, I think the syllabus is broken down in 3 bits. So the first one is obviously ethics again. And whatever that we've learned in the assurance, we have to now start applying them into scenarios. So scenarios at this level, again, I still believe is quite straightforward and it's not bad, okay? And a second part of this paper, obviously, is audit planning. And that is obviously the biggest chunk of it. This is where I believe full-time students will have a little bit of difficulty because they've got no work experience. And obviously, planning audit is gonna be the most heavy weighted syllabus, and it's going to be tough for them because they've not had any experience. And obviously, planning is the most important part of the audit, not the gathering evidence. Because if you get your planning wrong, then obviously the whole process will be affected badly. And then the final part of this syllabus is just completion and also to issue out the audit report. So that one, you follow through, pretty technical, not too bad. Okay, but AA is definitely way different compared to AS because over here is a lot of application, and we have the way it's being examined is basically we have to assimilate all the information is given to us. So they're all like mini case studies where the question could be like 3-4 pages long per question, and we've got to use data analytics. Okay, so that's where I think we're keeping up in trend, whereby our clients, obviously when we go in an audit, then our clients will just dump us with all information that they have. And obviously, probably 80% of it is redundant, okay, or they're just completely irrelevant. And from all this information, then obviously we have to sieve them to see which one are the important ones and which one are the relevant ones that we're going to use. And then from there on, with this data, then obviously we would then go on to identify what are the risks of the audit, which area of the financial statements will be of a higher risk for the auditor. And therefore, we have to then structure the problem. Okay, and once you've already structured the problem, then obviously we have to design the audit steps to mitigate this problem. And I think that is the whole flow of what ICAEW is all about, is to assimilate the information, understand those information, structure the problem, suggest solution, make your recommendations, and then you conclude. And although in between there, obviously we have to prioritize, we have to apply lots of skepticism, because we must understand that the financial statements have always been prepared by the clients. It's nothing to do with the auditor. Auditors are just verifying the numbers. So all the evidences are only provided by the client. So obviously we cannot, not to say trust 100%, but we've got to challenge them.
That's where we apply the professional skepticism that we have in all our papers.
Exactly, spot on. Yep. Definitely, we need to have a skepticism because we are accountable to the public as a professional. We're not there, but to basically protect our clients, but we basically have to protect the public. I think that's the main thing. A lot of people get the misconception that auditors are being appointed by clients, and therefore we have to protect the clients. And I think that is a wrong concept. We are there to protect the public. All right, because we are selling basically our name to enhance the credibility of the financial statements. And then I think what is really important with the Sunway program, we allow them to have a base learning, and at the same time, after finishing the preparation stage, you have to start work. And therefore, with these skills that we have, that has been, I don't know, embedded into the syllabus, then they have to start communicating with people. And that's where they start building the skills, interpersonal communication with clients. You have to adapt to changes because every day has different characteristics. You meet a client, you've got to go around them. You meet an easy client, and your life is easy. And even your different seniors is actually very, very difficult to deal with. Yeah, so some are good seniors, some are bad seniors. Yeah, well, we just have to adapt. That's all.
I guess that's the reason why I think one of the reasons our program is so popular is because we embed that particular WBL into the program. Okay, yes, they actually get the experience of it. All right, so when they come to your paper, when they do it, then they realize, hey, that's exactly what are the problems that I had with my firm or with my seniors. All right, and now I realize that a bit of planning, a little bit of understanding of what they want could actually have done a better job. Okay.
Definitely.
So,
yeah. When they come back from WBL and when they meet me in the AA paper, you will tell me that whatever I said is actually true. Okay, maybe not 100%, but at least it's 85 to 90% true. All right, and yeah, I think they enjoyed it, and it makes it more meaningful for them because they actually understand what they're doing.
Yeah, so because most of even other programs, they would actually do the placement. All right. at the end of the whole program, which is actually probably they have not actually experienced it and not apply it properly. So when they come back to our organization, right, come back to the subject college, we are able to show them how this could be applied better. So they actually really learn from their mistakes.
Yeah. And I think they also enjoy when they can communicate with different clients during their WBL. And I think we meet up with them every month, to identify any issues that they're facing. They really enjoy it. They really enjoy the WBL, without a doubt. All right, and then moving on then to CR, which is the advanced stage. And I do the audit element of a CR paper. And it only makes sense, honestly, to combine FAR and AA together, because FAR is how we prepare the financial statements, and to make sure that the financial statements are prepared in accordance with accounting standards and stuff like that. And AA is there to verify whether those numbers are actually have been prepared in accordance to the accounting standards. So again, it's an extension of AA, but with more complicated scenarios. And I would say very, very complex scenarios, to be honest. And what is that? Like, for example, usually when we're at the AA level, it will be just a typical manufacturing or service type of company. But if I'm not mistaken, one particular year where the CR exam paper was actually on a company of selling antiques. And there was an issue on it. Usually for us, the longer an inventory is actually in the store, then there's a higher chance that value has gone down. But antiques, on the other hand, would go up the longer it stays in store. It becomes complex, and there's no really proper textbook at all. And our CR is actually an open exam, completely open exam. So we just have to think about it. And I always remember myself when I was doing these exams, 20 plus years ago, and in they ask about Y2K.
Yeah.
You know, the time when the computer was supposed to crash when you move on to year 2000.
Yeah.
And what is the impact on an audit? And there was no textbook, nothing on it. We just had to think about it and write something about it.
That's where our the bridging of the skills, right, whereby you mentioned for all our professional level papers, the thing that we really want to emphasize is that the ability to be able to assimilate information. And then from there on, gather all this financial, non-financial, qualitative information, putting them into something that is going to be meaningful and structuring them into problem solutions, right? And then produce a conclusion, right, to be able to produce a recommendation.
Right. We got a little bit of judgment before we can actually
correct.
recommendation. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So it is actually embedded in all our papers, whereby the skill space is very strong. So this is where the beauty of this program is, whereby you're really teaching them how to ride a bicycle. But here it's not riding a bicycle; it's learning how to think.
Yes, that's right.
And then the scenarios get a little bit more and more complex as they move up higher. And then the technical skills, they combine them together. All right. So with their professional competency, which is one of the ethical principles that we actually push, right, to engage our students to develop. All right, so it's all the technical skills, the professional competence that allows them to be able to be more objective, right, in the decision-making process. That's also a fundamental ethical principle, so that whatever decisions that they actually or advice that they give, right, is going to stick to the integrity of that advice, right? Again, which is our principle in ethics. So that's the beauty of the program, right? That those 5 ethical principles is all embedded within the syllabus.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Definitely. Yeah, and the fact that you got to work and you got to be in your final year of contract before you actually attempt your case study is basic prioritization skills. You just have to learn how to prioritize between work and play at the same time and study at the same time. And I think that is a very, very wonderful experience, rather than full-time studying all the way and then get bored of it. And then so we're here. You got to study, you got to mingle around, you got to work, you got to play all together, and that is not easy. Because when I meet up with all my students, once they're at the advanced stage, you'll be like, oh gosh, I'll be like working so late and all that, and I got to come back to college and study. But that's what it is. That's life. Okay. Until you
developing themselves to us being called a true professional. All right. In that sense, I think one of our ex students were telling us the the adulting, right? Learning how to become an adult, right? But not just only an adult, but a professional one, right?
Yeah.
So, yep.
And it's not easy. Yeah? It's not easy. Honestly, it is a tough process, but I think it's a very meaningful process that everyone just has to go through. Yeah.
So yeah, probably we can talk about something else. Because you have been with the syllabus for so long, right? Like for example, you mentioned that when you did it, they were actually testing you on the Y2K, right? So now, because you have been teaching this subject for so long, right? Do you think that this subject have actually evolved? All right, the subjects that you have taught evolved?
Definitely. All right. We shall go on and have a little bit of a story again. History road. Okay. When I was a student doing ICAEW, obviously, I think at the professional stage we had 5 papers, and it was pretty much still modular. Okay, so I think if you clear that paper, you clear it for forever, for life. Okay, so it's pretty much the same. But obviously, we had to do all 5 papers one go, unlike what it is today, where we can choose whichever subject we want to. Back then was no all or nothing. All right, we had to do all 5 papers one go. All right, and what was it? Obviously, with that volume, then obviously the questions were not as deep as what it is today. All right, the surface is still pretty much the same in the syllabus, but the depth of the question and the difficulty of the question is definitely way, way more difficult now. All right, and then when we move on to the advanced stage, we had 4 papers. Again, we had to do all or nothing. And the worst part was, if you were to fail one, you fail the entire level. Right?
Okay.
Whereas it's different today. Okay, but again, the depth of the question today, even when I look at it today, it's still mind-boggling. Okay?
It's very challenging, right?
It really is, because one question is 6-7 pages long. And to read it, getting older, failing eyes, it's painful, yeah. And sometimes after reading 3 pages, what did I just miss something out? I have to read it. So it's very, very different now. With very, very complex scenarios, yeah. And so it has definitely changed, and I think we're going to change again in our next year, whereby we're going to start bringing in obviously it's now computer-based exams, and we're going to bring in another software called Inflow, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, whereby we analyze big data through either dashboards, pie charts, graph, and from there we identify issues with the audit or whatever not that's going to be asked. And then I think, if I'm not mistaken, they will be giving us again advanced information. So maybe I don't know, a few for the exams for us to understand what is the company's business all about. And on the exam day itself, you get the exam question. So it's challenging. We're moving very, very closely towards case study now. Yeah. So that will see.
So I think
exams,
especially for all our subjects now, has a lot of the IR 4.0, the Industrial Revolution 4.0 elements in there. Especially for papers like mine, right, business strategy and technology, they've actually changed the subject from business strategy to technology, incorporating all the technological elements. Okay, maybe we could very quickly show some of our audience here how the technologies have actually been incorporated into our syllabus.
Sure, please do.
Yep. Then we can see it's actually embedded in every single one of our papers. Right, as you can see. Yep, this is year 2020. And I believe that Mr. Ong's inflow system that we are bringing in, which is really hands-on onto a software, would be brought in 2021. So that is something that is carry. We're still waiting for more information about that. Right. So as you can see, we are going into artificial intelligence, blockchain, cybersecurity, cloud computing, data analytics, Internet of Things. Right. All the loads and whistles and all these things. Right. Which is going to be the next new thing. Right. So this is going to make our accountants even more powerful because of the fact that they are able to use these tools, right, to help them make better judgment. Right, because with the assimilation of all this information, they are able to be quicker and quicker in decision-making processes. So definitely, I believe that with our syllabus coming in, our students will probably have to really focus a lot more on their human intelligence, which we do have embedded a lot of our programs, like our interpersonal skills, our thinking skills, our design thinking classes. All those elements is supposed to build the human intelligence part. And with the artificial intelligence coming in, all right, I think with the two merging together, all right, with our human intelligence as well as the artificial intelligence, now we call it collaborative intelligence. And I believe our qualification would very easily get our students to be in that particular mindset, right? We call it collaborative intelligence.
Wow, impressive.
I guess, this is basically, what our students are all prepared for it. Since 2017 already, we are already preparing our students to do that. Okay.
We've got to update ourselves then. We've got to be very, very adaptive.
Yeah, correct. Adaptability, like our questions, our exam questions, you can see that every single sitting is different, right? It's going to be quite difficult for them to actually manage. And the fact that they actually run through all those questions, that itself is training our students how to be agile, training them how to be adaptable, the key skills that is needed in the new century that's coming on.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know they're going to embed a lot of technologies. When I was looking through the CR textbook, they were bringing in all these cloud bitcoins and all that. I was like, wow. It wouldn't be
yes, correct.
Student now. But thank God I'm not a student now, man.
Yeah, we have to keep up, right?
No, we still have to keep up to date. Yeah, that is without a doubt.
Yep.
Get on the line.
So now, because you've got so many successful students under you, right? Those who have got 100% passes, right? Those who've got world prizes, right? Do you have any study tips for our aspiring chartered accountants?
Honestly, to me, education should be fun. Okay. Education is not about rote learning, whereby you just memorize it. I think that's the way we've been brought up since primary one, or even from kindergarten. I honestly do not buy that at all. I prefer someone to actually understand it. And then, to me, is once you've understand it, it lasts with you forever. It goes with you all the way, till we go back to the ground. But if you were to memorize it, obviously it's good enough to pass an exam. And after the exams, it's all gone. It's just so it's a very hard. We have to balance ourselves whether of course, getting your students to pass is wonderful, and I know it's very, very competitive out there, whereby a lot of our employers, especially in the UK, they are only looking at first attempts, and if second attempt and third attempt, obviously your chance of getting a job is actually reduced a lot or significantly. But on the other hand, to me, even if you touch wood, if you don't make it the first round and you actually come back the second time, and it's also character building. Life is never like a bed of roses, so there's always going to be humps here and there. So if you were to take a dive, you see how you react to it. There's no way we can do a season without losing a game. That's quite impossible. Right? So we lose is how we get up, and then challenge ourselves. Always challenge yourself to do the best that you can. That's what I believe. Understanding the whole thing, it's a lot better than rote learning. That is without doubt. And that's why I think you love BST, and I probably love because there's no rote learning. It's just
correct. It's just apply, and there's no one answer that's going to get you to pass the paper. It's just have to think on your feet, and you just have to be case specific. All right. So even if you are going to, bring in our textbooks, all right, bring in our textbook like in our SBM and CR level and case studies, right? They may not pass because it's basically solving the problem on the day of the examination.
Exactly.
And in the case of the case study, you do get some information to process, all right? But at the end of the day, it's all about you making that judgment, all right? Providing that conclusion after you're structuring problem solutions, right? With all the information that you've assimilated, can you make that decision? And that's basically what life is, because there's no one answer to how are we going to take on life. Right, nobody knows exactly, what's going to happen tomorrow, right? Whether the government is going to close or open, right? And whether our bosses are going to ask us to go back to college or not go back to college, right? But we just have to adapt. We just have to adapt.
We still when we were ordered to go for an MCO on March. We were only informed 17, and we had to adapt by teaching online just on the dot.
Yep, correct, and we still managed.
Yeah, we managed it. Yeah, with WhatsApp or whatever. Yeah, running around trying to get computers at that point in time.
Yeah, correct. So that's why I say it's so important for us to actually develop our human intelligence, right? Our interactability, our communication skills, right? Our ability to adapt. Like you said, resilience and all that. Okay, now those are the things that the AI will not be able to replace.
Definitely.
Right? So if we develop the human intelligence that we have, right, aggressively, I mean, very well, okay, and with that, our ability to use the AI, so we are going to advance to collaborative intelligence. Okay, that's the key, right? To move forward, that's how it is. And I believe the qualification that we have here, the ICAEW, really does take us through that particular process, the thinking process, the problem-solving process, right? So the ability to process, to gain insights, to be adaptable, right? And with that, manage all the technologies. It's important that we do not let the technologies manage us. Instead, we have to manage technologies.
Yeah, definitely. Even I know there's been a lot of talks about AI going to replace human beings, or that accountants will lose their jobs and all that. But honestly, there is, I don't know, it's just superficial thinking. AI, we can't embed ethics in AI. There are a lot of ethical issues,
correct,
which humans can actually make a decision. AI probably can just choose which one is the cheapest, which one is the fastest, which one is the most efficient or not. But there are other things. Would you want to be associated with someone that is they're fast, they're cheap, but they're dodgy. They do funny things. Yeah, no. They incline you to do some form of I don't know, money laundering or whatever not. Okay, but so that is where human element has to come into play. So be rest assured, AI is there without a doubt. Okay, it's just that we have to collaborate, like what you said, to work together and use them to diagnose the data so that we can reach a better decision, more informed, and hopefully that's not right or that's not wrong. Yeah. After all, decisions, it could be right at that moment of time, but it could also be wrong if it was like 3 days earlier or 3 days later. It's different, yeah. So how do we measure? There's no proper measurement. So a lot of people just measure is like, how much profit did you make? Is that a proper measurement?
Like the thing is, if you fail, all right, your agility, your resilience, all right, is going to actually bring you back even stronger.
Yeah.
So it's all that human skills that is going to be more important, right? So it's that's how in some way we actually need to build all this as a key. So maybe we can take some questions from the crowd.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's.
Do we have any questions from the crowd?
Okay, sure. Oh.
Very quiet.
No question. Wow.
How ICAEW modules will be able to prepare students to handle unexpected crises such as the current pandemic?
Again, it's back to our adaptability, and how we adapt to changes. Of course, when it immediately hits us, then obviously there's a setback, but it is take a step back, calm down, collect back ourselves, think about it, and then I think we're just very, very adaptable and we're agile. Anything can happen anytime.
Really, how we train our students in our syllabus, isn't it? Right, you take a step back, analyze the information, right? Don't panic, So how we put our students under time pressure and all that, it's all within that. So they just have to take a step back and see how is it like objectively, what would be suitable to what kind of solutions we could take on right from that. So
just to share what happened to me when I was a student. Okay, I have a lot of stories to share. All right, so when I was doing the FM paper, back then it was called MIC, okay, Management Information, I can't remember what it was called, okay. So normally when we do variance costing or variance accounting, we always are asked to calculate what is the favorable variance or adverse variance. But in the exam, they actually gave us the variance and asked us to calculate the actual cost or the actual quantity. So our always been trained to think from left to right, for example, and then suddenly now they give us the right, ask us to work backwards. Obviously, I panicked. That was a pandemic to me, immediately. I looked at it, I was, what am I doing here? Just collect back, step back. I went to the toilet, washed my face, came back, and just take it step by step. Yes, no doubts, I couldn't finish the question, but I think I just did good enough, well enough. I passed the paper. So rather than
like what I always tell my students, right? You have learned the basic algebra. All you have to do is just don't panic and turn things around, right? It's still the same formula. Okay, so we have given them all the skills. You just have to step back, right, and think about, how do I just turn it around? So it's all embedded in that.
Yeah, it's embedded. And just always remember that everyone's on the same page with you. Everyone's on the same playing field. Everyone is going to be facing the pandemic together. It's just, take a step back and calm down, get collected, and then move on again.
I think one more thing I can add on to this particular question is that, one of the very important things about our qualification is the ethical values, right? And basically, when such crisis comes about, right, it is very important for the organization to stay true to true values such as, taking care of the employees, taking care of their true meaning of the organization and being sustainable organization. Okay, so when crisis like this comes in, okay, so some organization have to consider, should I retrench people or should I conserve cash, or do you think that how will I go about? And if you have a good idea of the whole syllabus, and if you understand that integrity is something that your organization wants to stay on, all right, want to ensure that they take good care of their employees, well, possibly look for financing and basically refer back to your financial analysis, all right, financial background, your treasury, and all those things. You go look for financing, right? And with that, right, you can easily bounce back.
Okay. Sunway Group, right?
Yeah, in different ways. All right. If we talk about Sunway Group, okay, the basic fact that they have a diverse group, right, is not just overnight that they have a diverse group. Okay, that's proper planning. There's risk management in there. Okay, the fact that they've actually got a hospital and they're pushing the hospitals to grow larger, and with all the cash in there now, it's all about strategy, and that strategy did not come overnight. Right, it's all about that particular business acumen, right? And of course, our country is also a professional accountant, or an accountant, right? So by training, so with that, it's all that. Okay, so resilience, being able to bounce back. Okay, it all comes with risk management as well as understanding your cash flow and staying true to the ethical values of the organization. Right, those are all the most important things, especially during a pandemic.
Yeah, definitely. Hope that answers the questions.
Is there any more? Any other questions?
I don't know.
How diversified is the teaching and learning process in ICAEW in comparison with traditional approaches in other courses?
I like to make it fun. I usually bring students, honestly, to cinemas. All right, and I want to show about the intention of bringing them to the cinema is to actually show them internal controls. Of course, I will hide behind the fact, come, let's go watch a movie together. Yeah, I need to do something. And every day sitting down, open the books, read it, and all that, they get a bit bored. So to show them reality, so basically, because full-time students that left SPM or whatever it is, they will never. It's quite hard for them to understand what is internal controls. But then they see it every day, but they just do not realize that it is actually internal controls. So just by bringing them to cinema, buying the tickets, watch the whole movie, buy them a popcorn and a Coke, they actually then realize, this is actually it. Sometimes they don't even understand why the parents write the word paid on the TNB bill. They just think we really paid. Why want to write on it? But that's a commitment. Just like they don't understand why somewhere always has a tag on the tables and the chairs, on the OHP or whatever, the visualizer, why is there a tag there? I say, you read the textbook, the first thing you do is write your name, right? Same thing. Why? Ownership. That's it. So that's how I like to do it. Yeah. So I don't think that is actually done in other, traditional approaches or not.
Yeah, I think probably they are questioning about whether, is there focus on a lot of exams or whether they're assignment based. Well, because the whole qualification at ICAEW is exam based. Right. So, of course, we will have to prepare our students for exams. But like what Mr. Ong says here, right, the way that we teach, right, has to be something that is applicable in the real world, because the scenarios that we are actually going to be facing is all real life scenarios. And we have to ensure that our students are able to apply, right? And without taking them into the real world, it's not going to be possible for us to actually get them to apply. Okay. So how do you teach someone how to ride a bicycle? Okay, by giving them a manual to memorize. It's not possible. So like Mr. Ong, he will take them to the cinema, right, to really see how is it like to do an audit process. Okay, so in terms of, the teaching and learning, right? So it's all about how we adapt it to suit the way that ICAEW wants it, which is to be able to apply. Okay, and on top of that, if this particular course is very exam based, but Sunway has done it in a way that we have incorporated a lot of other subjects that will focus also on soft skills, because we know that taking exams is not going to be sufficient. They need a lot of other soft skills. Okay, so thinking skills, interpersonal skills, all right, developing the ability to, for example, the work-based learning, all right, real life experience going out. So this course is very well rounded, I would say, right, in some way.
Definitely lah. With the work-based learning, and then I particularly like I don't know whether somebody still does this, but we had the dressing up session, and then teaching them how to eat properly with the fork and spoons and all that.
The etiquette and all that. Yeah, that one is in our hotel school. Okay.
All right. We had it before, teaching them how to dress up. Huh?
Right. Yeah, I think real experience is important, because, like, for example, in our CFAP program, the first 3 months of them, when they are in our course, we actually put them in a competition whereby they're supposed to produce a business plan. We call it the Nurturing Business Champion program. So the reason why we designed that program is because it's very good. It's going to be difficult for our students to actually appreciate what business is until and unless they actually see how everything is gelled together. So how is it gelled together? We got them to produce a business plan, right, and present it to the big accounting firms, all right, to pitch for funding. Okay, so this is called the Nurturing Business Champion, and this allows them to see how the whole syllabus is integrated. And on top of that, we teach them team skills, we teach them presentation skills, right? So it's essentially something that we do in some way that is bridging the gaps that we find that is needed in the real world. Things like adaptability, agility, and people skills, collaboration, all right? And when you design a product or a plan, very important, they have to also think about empathy of who they are designing it for. And I believe, Mr. Ong, when we take them to do all this, it's very important for them to have empathy for the client.
Yeah.
So all those are embedded in there.
Yeah. So, I think also on is that I think even ICAEW themselves has all these business challenges every year.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, so
and
I think
students excel quite well.
Yeah, you can actually join them, and you'll be challenging in against all the universities in Malaysia, right?
Yeah, right.
And whereby you're given a case, and within an hour you got to analyze it out with all your spreadsheets, and you got to give a presentation in front of all the judges, and most of the judges are actually partners from the Big Four. And so we do not only just encourage like rote learning or just passing exams. There are a lot of activities from both Sunway as well as ICAEW that helps to enhance the skill and I show you the real world, I think.
Yeah, right.
The features are all there. It's up to you to actually go and use it and to maximize it on your own.
And I do believe our students are all very, enthusiastic about learning. Whenever we have this kind of competitions, right, there'll be a long queue asking, can we get in, So we do attract quite a lot of good students in terms of, the quality that we have, right? So if you do come in, all right, we can see that you're really studying within a group of people who are very like-minded, okay? So that's one of the key things about doing this course with us.
Okay.
So do we have other questions? How to pass CR?
Well, study questions. No, they just gotta look through the papers. At the end of the day, you gotta understand it. Okay, so basically, if there's an accounting issue, you need to know what is the accounting standard that is relevant to it. So, for example, just using like inventory is the issue within the question. So obviously, you need to know IS2, which is inventory has to be recorded at the lower of cost or NRV. Then from then on, what will be the audit steps? It's definitely going to be led on to the audit steps. So from an audit perspective, the risk is obviously the inventory may be materially misstated in terms of it could have been overvalued or it could be undervalued. So what are the audit evidences available that will make you or let you reach an opinion whether it is fairly stated? So maybe things like post-year aging reports, post-year and selling prices, stuff like that. Right? It's an add-on from AA as well as FAR. Right, Inji? Of course, at CR level, they are looking at more complex scenarios, all right? Not just inventory, but it could be like leases. You got to look at it, right? But I think that will just be too technical, all right? This is not a lecture here.
Yeah, come for a class, then you will know.
Yeah. So it's basically again a simulation, structure it, find a solution.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do we have other questions? So I guess that's all for tonight. Thank you, Mr. Ong.
Hey, most welcome.
It was good to have a chat with you. Okay.
Have a chat with you too. All right then.
Everybody else, thank you. Thank you for having us. Bye.
Bye.
If you have any questions, do contact us. All right. I think we have some information at the bottom. So do contact us if you need more information about our program. And do stay tuned for next week's session, right, whereby we have Mr. Simon that is going to join us to tell us about tax and tax planning. Okay. So, all right. Bye.
All right, good night. Bye,
good night.
everyone. Good night.